Thanks for joining me for day 4 of our March 4 days of releases. And today is the set called Woo, and it stands for Wizard of Oz. And it has the 4 characters from the Wizard of Oz: Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion. And I used the Cowardly Lion on my card today. So what I did is I started off with a white card base that's 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then I'm going to go ahead and make a layer on top of that where the edge of it is a little bit off so that I can have a yellow strip underneath it that shows. So I went ahead and cut those pieces out, and then I glued the yellow strip on, and then I'm going to glue the white strip on. And as you can see when I go to place it, how it's like crooked, how I cut it at an angle. And one of our design team members, Ginger, makes cards that are kind of reminds me of this, and I really like the look of it. So I decided to try it myself this time with this card. So I wanted to add a little bit more color to it because the lion's going to be yellows and oranges. So I did just a little strip of orange cardstock along the white and the yellow transitioning area. And then I grabbed the large banner die, and I used the largest die from that to cut out a piece of red banner, and it's going to match his little bow that he wears in his hair. And then I decided to use a sentiment from our Oz set that says, "You give me courage." And so I went ahead and just cut that out using the banner accessories die, and I found the one that fit the sentiment just right. And I went ahead and I'm going to stamp it on the white paper using Memento Tuxedo Black. I prepared the stamp by wiping it with a baby wipe, and then I take a pencil eraser and I go over the letters, and then I wipe it again, and this just gets off any chemicals from the manufacturing process. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the lion ready to go, and I do the same thing where I wipe it, and then I use a pencil to get off those chemicals, and then wipe it down again. I made sure to really watch spots like the eyes where it's a thicker coverage area, because I notice if I don't do them well enough, then I'm going to have to stamp them 2 or 3 times to get a good coverage. And I actually had one the other day where I was stamping. It was the Wicked Witch from the Witches set, and she actually moved on me, and so I had to start over with her. So I like to be able to just stamp it the one time and be done. So with him, I did have to go over his mouth a couple times. I don't know if I just wasn't pressing hard enough or whatnot. So usually when I am editing my videos, I edit out any process like picking the colors and whatnot, but this time I decided to leave it in. So at first I picked out RVs for his little bow, and I realized they were going to end up being way too pink. So I used that Copic color chart and found that the ROs, or I'm sorry, the R2s were going to fit much better with the banner, the large banner that I had cut out earlier. So for his body, I'm using the YR 21, 23, and 24. And I'm just going to go back and forth with them and get a good shadowing on him. So back in, I believe it was June of 2020, I released the Alice in Wonderland set, and I had always meant to do an Oz set soon after that, but then we got into the holiday seasons and, the Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, Christmas, snow stuff, and then Valentine's. So these guys kept getting pushed out further and further and further, but I am super excited to finally be able to release these guys. These have been on my mind for a good while now to release them. So for his mane, I'm using YR16 and YR18. And then I am going to come in and use E19 to add just a little bit more pop to his mane. I find that the E19 has a little bit of a red tone to the brown. So it fit really well with his mane. And I colored his mane like I would the hair on a regular character stamp, with the flicking in to get the um, tone on his hair and the definition. And so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up here. And then for his nose, I just went with E49 and the eye was E15. And then I used a little C1 on the inside of the eye just to give it a little dimension. And then for his bow, I used the R22, R24, and R29. And I just went back and forth to get the right coloring that I liked. And for his little tummy, I used the YRs. And then I did come in with YR02 just to add a little bit more depth to the shadowy areas, like under his little mane and around his little foot. And then I do use the YR02 to add a little bit of blush on his cheeks. And now we have one fabulous colored little cowardly lion. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut him out. This set does have outline dies that coordinate with it. And so off camera, I did the template with the orange cardstock. So I took the outline die, cut it in the orange cardstock. I put that over the image to line it up just right. And then I taped that down. I put the die in and taped that down too. And then I cut the whole thing out. And then it gets the white area around him is just perfect. And then I'm just playing around with how I want him to be on the card. Do I want him to be up a little bit? I wanted to make sure I kept everything down low at the bottom of the card because I wanted a lot of white at the top of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing these parts on. And then I'm going to go ahead and add foam tape to the lion to make him a little bit 3D on the card. So it's more three-dimensional. So I hope you're having fun with these videos. I'm having a lot of fun creating them. It gets me out of my comfort zone because when you do this kind of business and you work from home and it's all behind the scenes and social media, for me, I'm very introverted, so I have a hard time getting myself out there. So these have really helped. So this release will be available tomorrow at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. There's 5 sets altogether, 3 outline dies, and then the one new slimline die.